makes me happy. Remembering makes me happy. Obeying makes me happy. You give me hope. Praying makes me happy. Remembering makes me happy. Obeying makes me happy. You give me hope. Put a hope in my heart, I can't stop clapping. Put a hope in my heart, I can't stop dancing. Put a hope in my heart, I can't stop singing. La 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 la. Put a hope in my heart, I can't stop shouting. God, you are good. God, you are good. God, you are good. The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible. The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible, the Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible.
Read it backwards, read it forwards, read it backwards. I for your insides, for your outsides, for your insides. A, make you brave, make you bold, make you brave. L-E, love forever, ever, ever. B, read it backwards, read it forwards, read it backwards. I for your insides, for your outsides, for your insides. B, make you brave, make you bold, make you brave. L-E, love forever, ever, ever.
The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible, the Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible.
B, read it backwards, read it forwards, read it backwards. I for your insides, for your outsides, for your insides. A, make you brave, make you bold, make you brave. L-E, love forever, ever, ever. B, read it backwards, read it forwards, read it backwards. I for your insides, for your outsides, for your insides. E, make you brave, make you bold, make you brave. L-E, love forever, ever, ever.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Paula. Are we going to learn more about how much God loves us when we obey?
Well, sort of. We have a really crazy story today, and it's more about a guy who didn't think honoring God and obeying was very important.
Oh, really? How crazy?
Well, let's go see. Are you ready?
Always.
In chapter 4 of the book of Daniel, we learned about a letter that King Nebuchadnezzar wrote to all people who lived over all the world. He sent it to people of every nation, no matter what language they spoke, and he wished them all great success. The letter said, "I am pleased to tell you what has happened. The Most High God has done miraculous signs and wonders for me. His signs are great, and his wonders are mighty. His kingdom will last forever. His rule will never end." Then the king explained that he had been at home in his palace feeling very content and successful when he had a new dream that made him afraid. It was a dream about a tree that was very tall and large and strong. Its top touched the sky and it could be seen anywhere on earth. Its leaves were beautiful and it had lots of fruit on it. It provided enough food for people and animals, and under the tree the wild animals found safety. The birds lived in its branches and every creature was fed from that tree. The king continued with his dream, saying, "While I was lying in bed, I looked up and I saw a holy one. He was a messenger coming down from the heavens. He called out in a loud voice and said, 'Cut down the tree, break off its branches, strip its leaves, and scatter its fruits. Let the animals under it run away. Let the birds in its branches fly off, but leave the stump and its roots in the ground. Let it stay in the field and put a band of iron and bronze around it.'" The king explained in his letter that he called all the wise men of Babylon together, those who had used magic and those who had studied the heavens, but none of them could tell him what his dream meant except for Daniel. He said that the spirit of the holy gods was in Daniel and no mystery was too hard for him to figure out. But Daniel was bewildered at first, and his thoughts terrified him. But the king encouraged him, saying, "Don't let this dream or its meaning make you afraid." So Daniel told the king that the dream was about him. He was the tree that had become great and strong and reached up to the sky, that his rule had spread to all parts of the earth. But the Most High God had given an order against him, that he would be driven away from people and live with wild animals eating grass. And then 7 periods of time would pass before he would recognize that the Most High God ruled over all kingdoms on earth and gave them to those he wanted. At this, Daniel encouraged the king to stop being sinful, do what is right, to give up his evil practices, and show kindness to those who were being treated badly. Daniel advised that perhaps then the God would not bring these things to pass and would allow these things to continue to go well for the king. But just 12 months later, all these things happened. King Nebuchadnezzar was walking on the roof of his palace in Babylon and said, "Isn't it great, Babylon, I have built as a place for my royal palace? I used my mighty powers to build it, and it shows how glorious my majesty is." And while he was still speaking, he heard a voice from heaven repeating God's order from his dream. At once he was driven away from people. He ate grass just like an ox does. His body became wet with dew of heaven. He stayed that way until his hair grew like feathers of an eagle and his nails became like the claws of a bird. At the end of the appointed time, Nebuchadnezzar explained that he looked up towards the heaven and his mind became clear again. Then he praised the Most High God and gave honor and glory to him as the God who lives forever. He praised God, and then the king's honor and glory were returned. His advisors and nobles returned, and he was put back on the throne, becoming even greater than he'd been before. King Nebuchadnezzar ended his letter by giving praise and honor and glory to the King of Heaven. He explained that everything God does is right, and that all his ways are fair. And the king ended the letter by saying that God is able to bring down those who live proudly.
The king really did go crazy. I mean, he was a human being running around with the animals and eating grass. I'm an animal and I can even see how crazy that must have been. I wonder what the animals were thinking when they saw him.
Huh, I never thought of that, Ari. But you can clearly see from today's story that God wasn't happy with King Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, he didn't like it when he thought that he was greater and more powerful and could get away with doing anything he wanted.
Yeah, and God even sent Daniel to warn him about his dream, but didn't stop sinning and treating people badly. Why didn't he listen?
That's a great question. The problem, though, was with King Nebuchadnezzar's heart.
His heart? Was it too big or too little?
It was too prideful. You see, pride makes us think that we're better than God and that we don't need him and that we can do anything we want. But God created us to need him and to love him more than anything. When we ignore God's power, it's sin.
And it makes God mad.
It makes God mad because we are not honoring him, we're not believing in him, and we're not trusting that his ways are the best. You see, God always wants our hearts to be turned toward him. He loves us.
He loves us so much that he gives us second chances.
Yes, he does, Ari. God gives us opportunities to turn our hearts back to him.
And that makes me happy.
Me too, Ari. And when King Nebuchadnezzar had an opportunity for a second chance, what did he do?
He honored God and praised him and then told everyone about it.
He sure did.
And I bet that made God very happy.
Yep, God loves it when we give him praise and honor and trust that his ways are the very best.
I'm going to work on remembering this week, Paula. I want God to be happy. I love him and I won't want to be prideful. I am going to tell him every day this week that I know his ways are the best.
Good job, Ari. God will like that.
Question number 1. King Nebuchadnezzar's dream was about a big tree that was cut down and destroyed. Is this true? Thumbs up. Or not true? Thumbs down. That's right. Your thumb should be up. King Nebuchadnezzar's dream was about a big tree that got destroyed. Question number 2. Daniel told the king he needed to stop sinning and to do what was right. Is this true? Thumbs up. Or not true? Thumbs down. That's true. Daniel cared about the king and did not want to see him punished, so he warned him to stop sinning and to do what is right. Question number 3. King Nebuchadnezzar stayed crazy forever and never got better. Is this true or not true? Show me your thumbs. That's right. Thumbs down. This is not true. God cleared the king's mind and King Nebuchadnezzar decided to praise and honor God. Question number 4. King Nebuchadnezzar wrote a letter to everyone he knew telling them what happened to him. Is this true or not true? Show me your thumbs. Thumbs up. That is true. King Nebuchadnezzar wanted everyone to know how great and powerful God was and that he was worthy of our honor and praise. Thanks for playing, everybody. Have a great Sunday.